Thank you so much for joining me. This is Kathy, and today I'll be creating a card using the Hop to It background stamp and the Easter mini strips stamps from Tailored Expressions. I started out with a piece of Neenah Classic Crest cardstock and decided to do some ink blending with my Distress Oxide inks. I wanted to do rainbow colors, but I wanted them to be more pastel, more Eastery. I started out with worn lipstick and used a makeup brush and blended that across the top part of my panel. I'm using a really light hand because I did want the colors to be very soft and pastel. The second color I used was dried marigold. The third is squeezed lemonade. The fourth color I used was cracked pistachio. Then I used tumbled glass, and I finished up with shaded lilac. I did decide to go over each of the colors 2 times just to get a little bit more of a seamless blend. And again, I'm using a really very light hand because I didn't want the colors to be too vibrant. After I went over each of the colors a second time, I cleaned my brush off and just blended the colors with a clean brush because the ink was still a little bit wet, so I thought that I could get it to blend a little bit more easily. I did end up with a fingerprint down on the bottom, so I grabbed a sticky note and covered up part of the panel so that I could go over that again with the shaded lilac and get rid of my fingerprint. Next, I used some temporary adhesive and adhered that panel to the base of my stamp platform. I put the stamp in my stamp platform and inked it up with My Favorite Things Cement Gray Hybrid ink. I stamped the image over onto my ink blended panel. I stamped it twice to make sure that I got a really good impression. And there was one spot that didn't want to stamp, so I just rubbed really hard with my sweatshirt sleeve, and that did the trick. The next thing I did was fill in the little ears of each of the bunnies. The Hop to It background stamp comes with the big cling mounted stamp, and then it comes with 4 sets of bunny ears, and each set of bunny ears has a different pattern. There's polka dots, stripes, solid, and then kind of like almost like a giraffe print type of pattern. I guess that's the best way to explain it. It also comes with little rosy cheeks, although I didn't use that on this card. After I stamped in all of the little ears, I set that panel aside and started to work on the bits and pieces. I die cut the word Easter 3 times from Neenah Classic Crest cardstock using my Cricut Explorer machine, and I stacked them just to give them a little bit of dimension. I die cut a piece of heavyweight vellum using the double stitched polygon dies from Honeybee Stamps, and I adhered the word Easter to the vellum. I didn't end up using a full strip from the Easter mini strips. I ended up just cutting off the word happy from one of them and adhered that to the front of the vellum with a little bit of foam tape. I had run the stamped panel through my Gemini Junior die cutting machine with a stitched rectangle die from My Favorite Things and adhered that to the front of a top folding A2 size note card, which is also Neenah Classic Crest cardstock. Then I put a little bit of liquid glue on the back side of the vellum, but I only put glue on the back side of the die cut word and the little strip that reads happy. That way you wouldn't be able to see the adhesive through the vellum. I adhered that in place on the front of the card and decided to add a little bit of shimmer to the word Easter, so I used my Wink of Stella glitter pen and decided after that that it still needed something else, so I grabbed my glossy accents and did a layer of that over the die cut word. The glossy accents goes on a little bit cloudy, but once it's completely dry, it dries clear, and then you'll still be able to see the shimmer underneath that. To finish up the card, I used a glossy white Nuvo drops and added 3 dots on top of the vellum. I tapped it on top of my ink pad just so that they would level out a little bit. And that's it. That finishes up my card for today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you've not yet subscribed, I'd love it if you would. And don't forget to ring the bell so you're notified every time a new video is posted. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.